Oh, hello. If you were absent today, watching this video and completing the work in your packet is going to help catch you up. We're going to be on page 12 of the Unit 3 packet, percents, the percent packet. So on page 12, we're going to be doing, what we're doing today is finding the percent of a number. And there's going to be two different strategies that we use. One of them, we're going to use maybe more so than another, but I'm going to show you both just in case we need both at some point. So the first problem we're going to do it twice using both methods. This example here is using this pie chart. So it says, refer to the circle graph, also known as a pie chart. Suppose there are 300 students at York Middle School. Find the number of students that have cheese as a snack. Well, if I look for cheese, here's cheese, 15%. That's not the number of students, that's the percent. So what we're going to do is figure out how many students that would be in the entire York Middle School if 15% like cheese. Now, if there were 100 kids at the school, then 15 out of 100 would like cheese, so that would be 15. But there aren't 100 kids, there's 300 kids. So I'm going to show you two different methods here. One is to use what's called, I know it says write the percent as a fraction, but we're going to use something here called percent proportion. Percent proportion. And what it looks like is this. To use percent proportion, you'll be working with three different numbers. A part, a whole, those are going to be the numbers, equals percent over 100. Now, so we need three numbers, or actually really we need two numbers to use this percent proportion. We need the part or the whole in the problem. We need the percent, and this number is always going to be 100. This is kind of like a ratio here. The ratio is part to whole is the same thing as the percent to 100. Okay, so let's look at what numbers we have here. We know that there's 300 students at York Middle School. That, to me, is the total. That's the whole. That's how many kids are at the entire school. The percent here is the cheese. What we're trying to find is the number of students that have cheese as a snack. So let's go down to our percent proportion. The part, we don't know. That's the number we're looking for. So the part, I'm going to put a circle. The whole, which is below the part, is 300 kids. That's how many total students are at York Middle School. That is equal to the percent, which is 15 over 100. So again, this is kind of like ratios here. Now, we want to find this mystery number. Whatever number this is, we want to find it. Now, to do that, we have to figure out how to get from 15 to this mystery number. Well, we're in luck because it's kind of easy to go from 100 to 300. All we have to do is multiply by 3. So we're going to do the same thing on the top. Multiply by 3. 15 times 3, if I didn't know it, I could do it off to the side, but that's going to be 45. So that means that 45 students at York Middle School have cheese as a snack. So that's one way to do it. This is my favorite way to do it, is to set it up as a percent proportion like this, like two ratios. The other way to do it is when the numbers aren't so easy to work with. So I'm going to show you both ways. It says write the percent as a decimal. So the other way, method 2, excuse me, is the percent times the whole equals the part. So this one only works when you have the percent and you have the whole. If you multiply them together, you get the part. Now, the key thing is that this percent needs to be a decimal. So we're going to write 15% as a decimal. I'm just going to write that here. 15% as a decimal would be the same thing as 15 out of 100, which is 15 hundredths. 15 hundredths. All right, so the percent we want to write as a decimal, 15 hundredths, times the whole, which is 300 was the whole, is going to get us the part. So whatever this is our answer. So to multiply this, we'll put 300 on top. We'll multiply by 15 hundredths. And here we go. Off we go. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 3 is 15. Placeholder 0. Cross out the 5. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 3 is 3. So we got 0. We got 0. We got 5. We got 4. We have 2 decimal places. So we're going to move it over 1, 2. So that means we would get 45 again. So really, I mean, if you look at both methods, I think, me personally, the percent proportion method is a whole lot easier than this method, but it's nice to know this method just in case you get tricky numbers. So if it was like trying to find 15% of like 27, that might be kind of tricky to use this method here. But if the numbers are easier to work with, we're going to try to use percent proportion. All right, so let's check out. There's a couple more problems here that we're going to use, that we're going to try out, and we're going to use probably method 1. It says, how many York Middle School students have chips as a snack? So to use the percent proportion, every time I use it, I'm actually going to write this down. P to W, part to whole, equals percent over 100. Now, I know I can use this method easily because I know that the whole, the number of total students was 300. This is the same middle school, just we're looking at a different snack. So that's why it would be good to use this method, because I can get easily from 100 to 300. So let's use this one. All right. How many students had chips as a snack? So let's look at our circle graph here. Chips, chips, chips. There it is. 18% had chips as a snack. Now that's 18 out of 100, but 300 kids went to the school. So again, we don't know the part. That's what we're looking for. That's the number of kids that had chips. The whole, again, is 300. That's the total number of students. The percent, 18, and 100 is just going to be 100. So now we can find out what this missing number would be. We're going to multiply on the top and bottom. 100 times 3 is 300. So now we have to do 18 times 3, and we're going to get the missing number here. I don't know it. I can do it off to the side. 8 times 3 is 4. Carry the 2. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 2 is 4. 54. So that means 54 students preferred chips as a snack out of 300. 54 out of 300. Nice, nice, nice. All right. So again, if you use the other method, you do 1800s times 300, and you'd still get 54. But I think this method might be easier to work with for now. All right. Similar problem. If you want to try this one on your own, you can. It says, how many York Middle School students, again, same middle school, have veggies as a snack? Veggies. So I'm going to use percent proportion again. We're going to try this one out because, again, we're working with a whole of 300 kids. So this won't be too bad. Part over whole equals percent over 100. All right. So veggies as a snack. 17%. Okay. So the part, again, that's what we're looking for. The number of kids that like veggies is the part. The whole was 300 kids in the whole school. The percent is 17%. And the 100 is 100. Always going to be 100 there, because percents are always out of 100. So I want to get from 100 to 300. We can do it by multiplying by 3. Multiply 17 by 3. Of course, we can do it off the side if we didn't know. 7 times 3 is 21. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So 3 times 17 would be 51, and 51 students had veggies as a snack. Of course, either method would work, but this one's kind of easy because the whole is 300. All right, so we're going to try a couple more problems using this method, and then we're going to try some using the other method, method 2, just because it'd be nice to be familiar with both. But the percent proportion, we're going to use more so in the unit than the other method, method 2. This one says, in a recent state Special Olympics meet, Franklin County sent a team of 70 players. 20% of the team competed in soccer. How many athletes competed in soccer? Okay, well, let's figure this out. Now, we're going to use percent proportion this because I want to show you something that might happen here. There's something is going to happen here. But before we do that, I'm going to write my numbers that I'm going to need to work with if I work with 100. 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20, 25. These numbers might come in handy because, again, we're working with percents. I'm missing one. 50. 50. I almost forgot because I saw 8. I knew there was 9. There they are. Oh, not 1,000. Got carried away with the zeros. All right. So we're going to use percent proportion here. That means part over whole equals percent over 100. So let's see what we have here. The Franklin County sent a team of 70 players. I'm thinking that's the whole. 20%, that's the percent. How many athletes competed just in soccer? That's going to be the part. So we're looking for the part. So where it says part in the ratio, I'm going to put a circle because I'm not sure what it is. The whole is 70. And then the percent is 20 out of 100. Now, you might think we're stuck here. Because you're probably thinking I don't know how to get from 100 to 70. And that's okay. Because what we can do is simplify 20 hundredths to another ratio to then help us get to 70. Because right now I can't get from 100 to 70. But I think we can simplify this 20 hundredths. And we could divide by 2, because 20, you can do 20 divided by 2 or 100 divided by 2. But if we divide it by 2, we get to 50, which won't help us get to 70. 4, we can divide both by 4, but if we divide by 4, we'll get to 25, which won't help us get to 70. We can divide by 5. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm thinking to divide by 10, because if we divide by 5, we'll get to 20, and I'm not sure if that's going to work out. So let's divide by 10. I know it looks like we're going in the wrong direction. But let's divide by 10 and see what happens, because we can simplify that ratio. 20 divided by 10 is 2. 100 divided by 10 is 10. Now can we get to 70? You bet we can. So we're going to multiply 10 times 7 is going to get us to 70. And then 2 times 7. 2 times 7 is 14. So again, simplifying came in handy. 14 athletes competed in soccer. Good for them. So 14 out of 70 is the same thing as 20%. That's 20%. So we used our percent proportion. We found a simplified version of that percent, and then we were able to get to the number we wanted to. All right, let's see how this one goes. Perhaps this one will be more straightforward. I don't know. In the same meet, 15% of the team from Delaware County competed in tennis. If there were 20 members on the team, how many competed in tennis? Okay, let's see what we got. Let's try percent proportion again. 15%, well, you know what? That's the percent. There were 20 members on the team. How many competed in tennis? So this is the whole team, and competed in tennis is the part. So we're trying to find the part. Part over whole equals percent over 100. Okie dokie. Now, we don't know the part. That's what we're looking for. The part is something. We know the whole is 20. The percent is 15 out of 100. Now, if there were 100 kids on the team, then there would be 15 tennis players, but there's only 20. So to find how many tennis players there would be if there was only 20, well, we're in luck. We can get right from 100 to 20. We can do it in one step. What can we divide by? Well, we can divide by 5. 100 divided by 5 is 20. That's one of our connections here. 5 and 20. All right, 15 divided by 5 would be 3. So that means 3 people competed in tennis out of that 20. That would be the same thing as 15%. So 3 competed in tennis. Nice. All right. Now, this one here, these are, we're going to do 3 of these. We're going to save one. We're not going to do one of these, but we're going to now try the other method because these numbers are a little bit more difficult to work with. So percent proportions are awesome if the numbers are easier to work with, but I'm looking at this 32 and 60, 30%, and actually this one might not be too bad. 42 and 20. I mean, we're going to try out the other method because I think it might work better for us. So percent proportion is one of the methods. The other way is it's going to be percent times the whole equals the part. So right now we have the percent, but we're going to write it as a decimal. It's going to be 32 hundredths times the whole. Now this we're finding 32% of 60. So this is the whole. That's the percent, of course. So we're going to multiply this by 60, and whatever this number is going to be the part. So again, if you want to try doing the multiplication on your own, go for it. I'm going to actually put the 32 hundredths on top, multiply by 60. Let's see what we get. Well, 0 times 2 is 0, 0 times 3 is 0, 0 times 0 is 0. So this is going to be a row of zeros right here. Placeholder 0. 6 times 2, 12. 6 times 3, 18, plus 1 is 19. And then 6 times 0 is just 0. So 0, 2, 9, 1. Now we have 2 decimal places here, none here. So remove the decimal point twice, and you get 19 and 2/10. Nice. So it's less than half. 32% would be less than half because 50% would be half. So it'd be less than 30, which it makes sense. It'd be 19.2. So again, this method is good to use when you know you have the percent in the whole and you're looking for the part and the numbers are kind of tricky. All right, let's try this one here. Unless you want to try it on your own. If you want to try it on your own, we're going to use method 2. We're going to use percent times the whole equals the part. It says Troy wants to buy a jersey of his favorite MLS team. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? The jersey is 30% off the original price. If the original price of a jersey is $35, what is the amount Troy will save? All right. So we can only use this again if we have the percent and the whole. So here's the percent. We know we have that. That's the percent. If the original price, that's a key word, original price is 35, that would mean if that's the original price, that's also the whole. What is the amount Troy will save? What's the amount he will save? So that's going to be the part. So we are looking for the part here. 30% as a decimal is going to be 30 hundredths. Now, you know what? Here's a little trick. 30 hundredths is the same thing as 3/10. So I'm going to use 3/10 instead. It's going to be a whole lot easier. Times 35 is the whole, and then we'll get the part. All right. If you want to try this on your own, go for it. I'm going to put 35 on top. I'm going to put the 3/10 on the bottom, which is the same thing as 30%. Again, we just got rid of that placeholder 0. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 3 is 9. Plus 1 is 10. And then we have 1 decimal place, so we're going to move that over once. And we're going to get $10. And, well, we wouldn't leave a price like that. We wouldn't leave a price like that, so we'd have to put the 0 in there. So, again, we could use the percent proportion here, but this method's going to be easier because these numbers were a little bit more difficult to work with. We'll be working more with the percent proportion later, but again, if you have the percent, if you have the whole, if you know you have those 2 pieces, this method will be helpful. All right, we're going to try one more of these. If you want to pause it and try this one on your own, go for it. Go for it. But first, we want to know what we have, what numbers we have here. It says the original price of a pair of shoes is $42. Well, original price is almost always the whole. That's the original price. That's the starting price, the whole price. The sale price should be I guess it says us, is 20%. So that's the percent, of course. What is the amount off the original price? Okay. So what we're going to do is percent. We can use method 2, percent times the whole equals the part. So I'm just abbreviating the method there. All right, so the percent we have to write as a decimal. 20% would be 20 out of 100, or 20 hundredths. Again, we have a placeholder 0 there. Let's get rid of that thing. We don't need it. It's going to help us when we multiply. You can't, I mean, if that number was like a 2, you couldn't just get rid of the 2 because it's a 0. It's a placeholder. We're going to multiply by 42, and we'll get the part. So this one's not too bad. It's pretty much just 42 times 2 with one decimal place. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. We have one decimal place here. Okay, we're going to move the decimal point over once. Now this is another price, so we wouldn't leave the price like this because you wouldn't ever see a price with one decimal place, so we're going to add in a 0 there. All right, so just to recap, we learned 2 different methods to use. This method though, we call this method 2, I guess. We can only use it if we have the percent and the whole. That's it. If we have the part in the whole or the percent in the part, we cannot use this. So before you try a problem using this method, you need to check to make sure you have the percent in the whole. On the other hand, what's helpful about percent proportion, this is method 1, you can use this whenever. You only have to have 2 of the numbers. If you have the whole and the percent, you can use it. If you have the part and the percent, you can use it. If you have just the part and the whole, you can use it to find the other numbers. So that's why percent proportion is a really nice method, really nice strategy, and one that we're going to use quite a bit. So again, I hope this went well for us here. And if you have any questions as you're working, please let me know. And I hope to see you soon. All right. Bye-bye.